Richard Skipper celebrates. Every show is a celebration. Each show, Richard delivers the artists you love, showcasing what makes them unique. Never gossipy. The antidote to a sometimes hectic world. Now, here's your host, Richard Skipper.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Richard Skipper Celebrates. For those of you who have been here before, thanks for coming back. And for those of you who are here for the first time, our show is about celebrating artists and their body of worth. And today, we are very pleased to welcome Brittney Mack to our show. And she is doing this interview with me on behalf of the Broadway Mentors program, which we will be talking about a little later in the program. Now, being an actor is full of ups and downs and all kinds of exciting things. But Brittney has something on her resume that many of us aspire to, but at the same time, we hope never happened to us because she was hit with a double whammy. Number one, she was scheduled to open on Broadway. Are you ready for this, Britt? Should I call you Brittney or Brittney?
You can call me Britt or Brittney. It doesn't matter.
306 days ago tonight, you were scheduled to open on Broadway. And then you're in your dressing room. The flowers are coming in. The excitement of opening on Broadway is happening. And then what happened?
And then our ASM comes down the stairs to the dressing room. I get a slight knock on the door. Rachel, love her. And she's like, so the announcement just came out. The governor just made an announcement that they're shutting down the theaters and for everyone to go home as soon as possible. And
now, I want to let everyone know, and we will going to talk about the show in just a moment, but are you currently in New York or had you gone? Okay, so you stayed. God bless you for that. But I want to ask you, Brittney, how are you doing now in the midst of everything that's been going on? We're living in a crazy world right now. How are you processing everything?
To be perfectly honest with you, Richard, I have to take it one day at a time. And every day I actively choose joy. Like I know it may sound some kind of way, but that is the only way I can get through it because there's so much, like you said, the world is so crazy and every day it's something else. And, you know, the entire community, Broadway, off-Broadway, tours, regional houses. I mean, all actors, live entertainment actors alike, we and coaches and teachers, we're struggling. We're all struggling. And so it's one of those things that in the dressing room, when I got the news, it hit me and I was like, oh, wow. It was two. It was one like, this isn't happening tonight. Oh, okay.
I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, had you heard, there was news items popping up weeks leading up to this about the possibility of COVID. And I remember the first time I heard about COVID on the West Coast, and then all of a sudden we're hearing about it here in New York. Was there ever a thought in the back of your mind that we may not open?
No, honestly. However, we have a great team, and our production team and our creative team, they sat us down a few times week prior and was just like, let's just have a powwow, all of us together, and we just want to touch base on what's going on. And because of course we started to change protocol and not do stage door and not do certain things in order to reduce contact and things like that. So I mean, once it happened, I was like, I mean, surely we'd open maybe and then not do it. And but then I was like, but that wouldn't make sense. That would almost be kind of cruel. So why would they do that? So it was one of those kind of interesting thought processes. But honestly, what really sunk in which was the second wow, was the entire theater community. stagehands, engineers, dressers. I can't even. I
And
was like,
it's Domino's, it's the restaurants, it's the
it's,
hotels,
yeah,
it's all of the businesses in the area. They're all suffering together with this.
yes. So I
Now,
was like, oh,
I don't want to keep everyone in the dark. The show that you were scheduled to open in was 6. And, and the word on the street was that this was going to be the next big show. I was hearing incredible things about this. And of course, I want to cover your past, but I want to talk about the road that led to Broadway. And it's still going to happen. So we know that's going
yes,
to happen.
yes.
But you originally, and if I have wrong information, please forgive me.
Of course.
You were originally cast in the national tour, but then you had an injury and you had to drop out of the show. So you didn't do the tour, or did you do any of the stops leading to Broadway?
Yeah, so we started it. It kind of turned into a tour, to be honest with you. We started in Chicago at Chicago Shakespeare Theater, my hometown.
Your hometown.
So I was really, really grateful to be doing such an incredible show and a new work in theory there. And then we got wind. We found out in rehearsals that we were going to ART. And so it wasn't something that at least from our end, that we were made privy to until we were already kind of knee deep in rehearsals. But we did know that we were to be going from Chicago to Edmonton, Alberta. So I was with the show all the way through until until the Queens went to the Ordway. And so that's when I had to kind of leave the show in order to heal from an injury that I had in Chicago. So my knee just kind of was like, nah, girl. When I hit Canada, she was like, nope, we're done. And so I had to hit physical therapy and be very, very diligent about it in order to be ready and prepared for what was coming the following year.
Now, how did the show first come about for you?
You know, Richard, it's interesting because let me tell you, I thought I was auditioning for The Wizard of Oz, okay? That is what I was going in for originally. I was like, oh, Wizard of Oz, I got this.
Now, you've already done The Wiz. You did The Wiz, I think, in Maine at the...
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did The Wiz at Maine State Music Theater, directed by Donna Drake, and it was...
Oh my God, I love Donna. I haven't seen Donna in years.
Like, she allowed me to, like, do my thing. She was like, just go. And I was like, okay. She's like, but not too much. And I was like, okay. So, love her. So it was an incredible cast, too. The production was fantastic. But anyway... So, yes, I had done The Wiz before. I had also done a previous production of The Wiz where Stephanie Mills actually came to see it. I was younger, but that was also incredible. So, I'm thinking I'm at Chicago Shakespeare Theater. I'm going in for the generals. I'm going in for The Wizard of Oz. There was a breakdown that said 6. I thought they were counting. I had no idea what they were talking about. So, I was like, listen, I'm going in. I went in, sang my face off. Richard, listen, it was the best audition I had in a long time, okay? I had 8 auditions that day. I was hitting it out the park because then I was going to New York for audition season in New York. When I tell you, Bob, he goes, that was great. Do you have something else? And I was a little offended, Richard, because I felt like I just knocked it out the park, okay? So he was like, we need something else. Little did I know, he has the idea of 6 in his head. Fast forward 4 callbacks of, can you sing this? Can you sing that? I sang my entire callback book for Beautiful.
Now, obviously, at this point, you're not thinking that you're auditioning for The Wizard of Oz.
I mean, you want to hear something really funny? I was like, oh my gosh, because this is how rights go with theaters and seasons, okay? Oh my gosh, they changed it to The Wiz for me. Like, we're going to change it to The Wiz. Richard!
I love it.
Just positive vibes. But I just, I'm not always the brightest crayon on the box. I'll tell you that much. So I said, okay. I was like, I still had no idea what was going on until I got sheet music that said, get down. And I was like, Siri, who is Get Down? Where is she from? And why is she? What is happening? So
And now you
once
think
I
they're putting a new song in the show just for you.
listen, I was like, okay. It was the way it was not a thing. So once I found out, once I got sheet music is when I actually found out, oh, okay. Oh, this is so cute. Okay, I saw clips from Edinburgh and things like that. I was like, this is adorable. Then I'm in final callbacks, which was an incredible process. If you were auditioning and called back for specific queens, everyone called back in the room together.
Now, you have to explain to everyone what you mean when you say the queens, because some people may get the wrong idea.
Fair. Oh my God, that would be such a
Not that you were auditioning for queens, you were auditioning for queens.
But also for queens.
Yes.
So we're auditioning for Six the Musical by now to play one of the 6 wives of Henry VIII.
Right.
And who have this incredible, they each have this incredible through like line of relationship between all of them. And they all have their own very, very like life-changing stories, right, of their marriages with Henry. Very famous all over the world. Most famous is Anne Boleyn because she got her head chopped off. Blah, blah, blah. Another really famous one, Catherine Howard, because she was so young, she also got her head chopped off. So yes. So by this time, there's 6 queens. You're going to get sheet music for each of the queens or whichever ones they want to consider you for. I got sheet music for Get Down, which is Anne of Cleves, her number, and Don't Lose Your Head, which is the signature number for Anne Boleyn. So I was like, okay, either way, I'm an Anne. All right, let's do this. So I go in and I'm at final callbacks, and it started to hit because I'm in final callbacks with all these incredible women who I had just seen on Broadway. I saw Anna Uzele in the revival of Once on This Island. I had seen Adriana in the revival of Color Purple. And then I also saw her on tour. And then and then Catherine, I saw her in Aladdin. What's happening here? I don't know. I'm just in my own space.
I think that's the secret. What you are describing is the secret. You go in with an open heart, an open mind, and it's going to happen.
And it's going to happen. And I even say it now, and I'm like, I'm really thankful and grateful that I had no idea the magnitude of what the show was and what I was going in for, because that's how we, like you said, that's how we psych ourselves out. We start to change the very essence of who we are and what makes us us, right? And so I was like, you know what? I don't know. So I went in.
You know, I also think, Brittney, that the fact that you were not obsessing over getting a specific role probably made it a lot easier for you in terms of just going in and saying, this is who I am. You know, I hope that you like what you see. And I can tell you right now, if anyone doesn't like what they see, you're crazy. I know, you know, I can't wait for this show to come to Broadway so that I can be sitting there in the theater cheering you on. This will be your Broadway debut.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about the road that led to your Broadway debut. Now, I always begin my interviews by going back to your 5-year-old self. That's the 5-year-old Brittney without the encumbrance that are put upon us when you start school and peer pressure and all of that. What kind of a child were you at 5 years old?
At 5 years old, I'll tell you, at 4 years old, I was when I saw Heidi for the first time with Shirley Temple, and I was like, cool, clocked it. Then, you know, I was introduced to Gary Coleman. I will never forget the day I told my mom, this was, oh gosh, I can't even tell you what I had on. I can tell you the day. I told my mom, I said, I want to be Gary Coleman and Shirley Temple when I grow up. And she was like, okay. And that's what started it. My mom never told me that I couldn't do it. She never told me I was crazy. She never told me like, what, child, that don't make no sense. You have to pick one. She literally said, okay. It was just like, all right, cool. And
So tell us a
after
little bit
that,
about your mom. What did she do? What does she do?
my mom is a superhero. She is entrepreneur. She had multiple salon and day spas. She's a natural hair care stylist, and so one of the first sister lock consultants in the state of Illinois. And she's a powerhouse. She is the woman that, you know, single mom with two children, my brother Brandon and I, and adopted my three cousins. My
Oh my
mom,
God, God bless her. She is a
yes,
superwoman.
she is a superwoman, you know, a toddler. And then my other two cousins and my brother and I were all about a year apart. So four teenagers at one time as a single mom, as, you know, being self employed, you know, and, you know,
Is your
imagine,
mom still around?
yes, she
I
is.
want to interview her.
She's, Richard, listen, she's fabulous. She's
Well, tell her. I want to
fabulous.
bring her on because this is an amazing story.
She's incredible. And I mean, I tell you one thing, she doesn't look like what she's been through, you know?
Yeah.
And I just and that's just a testament to my grandmother and to my grandfather. And we have a strong family. My mom is one of nine. And so we're all in each other's business and in each other's faces. And my mom allowed us as children to develop what she saw,
Mhm.
and just was like, okay, so, you know, my brother Edwin, you're an athlete, all right, let's do it, go run around the block, you know, and I'm gonna time you, go. And did these things. And for me, it was just nurturing this theater kid. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So she sat me down, thank God for PBS. She sat me down in channel 11. It was like, it used to come on at 11 o'clock at night,
Mhm.
the musicals. And so the first one was West Side Story. I remember sitting there like, why is the screen changing so many colors? What is happening? And they whistled and they snapped and then they jutted, and my
Mhm.
life had never been the same. And then
You know,
Yentl
it's
was right after that.
amazing. I don't know what it is about West Side Story. I mean, that movie, I'm a lot older than you are. That movie won the Academy Award the year I was born. But for so many people, West Side Story changed people's lives.
Yeah.
I hear over and over and over again from many of the people that I've interviewed that that show changed the way that they wanted to pursue a career in the theater. So
Yeah.
you say to your mom when you're 4 years old, this is what I want to do with my life. Did anyone else in your family have an artistic bent in any way whatsoever?
Well, my mom grew up. Well, my mom was also like this super artistic woman, right? And so her gifts were all in her hands. She was an incredible dancer. She used to dance with an African troupe, Najwa and Mutu, in Chicago. And
Mhm.
so I kind of had it honest. It was all around me. I grew up with music all around me, sitting in front of a vinyl player. You know, she loved Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. So if she was watching it, I was watching it too. And so music theater as an idea was never something that wasn't tangible. It wasn't something that it was, oh, you're a singer, actor, dancer, like, you know, how they have you now, like label what you are strongest to whatever.
Mhm.
In my brain, it was something that you just had to do all of them. And you had to be great at all of them because the greats were great at all of them. So
Mhm.
my brother is a percussionist. He plays the congos and bongos and djembe and xylophone, all the things. But my sisters are brains. They're just super smart, but they're also writers. And then my brother Edwin is a football player, and he's just like the health guru of the family. So, and then the animals just kind of fall in place
Mhm.
after that. They just kind of fill us
So
up.
what was the first class that you went into as either an actress, a singer, a dancer? What was that first class? Who was your first teacher? And what did that teacher instill in you that you have carried throughout your entire career?
I have, my first voice lesson, I guess, was from my mom's dear friend. Her name is Michelle Brooks. Beautiful, beautiful, classically trained opera singer. And I remember seeing her in concert singing Ave Maria. And I was like, Yeah, and started mimicking that sound. Because I could mimic, Sarah Vaughan and Barbara Streisand and try to do, because you don't think when you're younger, oh, head voice, just technique. Who cares? You are going for the gusto. No one's going to rain on my parade. Here I am, Mr. Onstein. Like, that's what it is. And so, but I saw her and there was a poise about her and this thing. And she taught me who Leontine Price was. And she taught me about La Traviata and all. And I was like, okay. And so my very first voice lesson was with Michelle Brooks. And she told my mom, if my mom tells it, she told my mom, she goes, she has perfect pitch, so you might want to invest in lessons. And my mom's like, great. So she'll start with you and that's where we'll go. So it was incredible to me to see this Black woman singing this way, and I was like, and it's loud. I was like, oh, she's so loud. And I was always so loud. So you get told, in formal school, oh, quiet down. And before you know it, it's kind of suppressing you. You just don't know that that's what's happening. So having that outlet was great. It was really, really great as a kid. Then my mom put me in modeling to try to get me in front of people, but that terrified me in a weird way.
Now, did your mom, it seems to me, based on what I'm hearing so far, is that your mom was very open to you following your passion.
Oh, yeah.
Did your mom ever become, forgive the expression, a stage mother? Or, did she ever push you, or was it always on you that this is what you wanted?
Honestly, Richard, it was always 100% on me. Okay. Because she wanted to make sure without a shadow of a doubt that this is what you want to do. And even if as a mother, she says now, even if I knew that you had this light inside you, and as a mom, I felt like this is what you were supposed to do, no matter what, just for who you are, Britt, I couldn't make that choice for you, because I didn't want you to be in something and you not really want to be in it. The light would go out. Then you wouldn't have a light. So you have to do it because you want to. But that's how all of us were raised. Just straight across the board. Whatever you guys want to do it. For the longest, I also competed in state tournaments in track and field. So I was very kind of the sporty artist girl thing. And so I was like, but very much so kind of like prissy at the same time and like taking photos. And so she was like, okay, here we go. So we always had a friend, because we couldn't afford it, honestly. But she always knew someone who could, a photographer who worked at the muffler shop that my granddad knew. And she was like, he's going to take some photos of you. And,
Love it.
Did things like, she made it work. You know what I mean? And because the opportunities were not there. Opportunities and things, like Broadway Mentors program was not available for me because I didn't have the access to it, let alone the funds. So,
well, let me ask you this. With your mom being so open and supportive, and again, what is your mom's name?
Benita Phipps.
Benita, God bless you. I am shouting out to Benita right now. So thank you for instilling this. But when was the first time that you ever heard, no, you can't do that? And how did you get through that?
I want to say yeah, it was when, before my mom adopted my cousins, I got an offer from Disney, from the Disney Channel, to come and do some screen tests.
Now, how did that happen? How were they aware of you?
I auditioned for The Lion King.
Okay.
And so, and being this kid who grew up watching Little Rascals and Our Gang and the Three Stooges, I went in and sang a cappella, first of all. I sang a cappella and I sang if people are familiar with Little Rascals and Our Gang, they would know that they used to put on like full productions, these kids, tuxedos and giving you all the things. So I went in, and I never forget, my mom bought us the collection along with Hooked on Phonics. That was the balance, right?
Oh, wow.
And so that was the balance. So she bought us the VHS collection of the Little Rascals. And I never forget, I heard Darla sing Babyface. And I was like, I could sound like that. I can sound like that. And I went into this Lion King called Acapella Babyface and just sound like Doris Day at 7 years old. They're like, what? The 40-year-old woman, what is happening? You know, but I grew up hearing those influences, so I knew how to sound a certain kind of way. And even though I was very petite, I was older. So I spoke like
Were you nervous at all about auditioning?
I wasn't. I wasn't. I've always enjoyed auditioning, even now, because I still see it as like showtime, you know, and you get to do your own show, you know. It's not like sing these songs and then you get the call back, you know, prayerfully, and then you're like, okay, here we go. But for that 16 bar, 32 bars, it's your show, baby. So I'm kind of like, let's do it. And you get to be so creative. So so from that audition, they were like, you read a little, this one's not for you, but, and so all I remember is keep going to these meetings downtown Chicago. Oh, we downtown again. Why? And I had to come, and I had to smile, and I had to sit there and answer questions. And they were like, we want to bring her to LA. We want to talk to her about it. At the time, Rudy Lipscomb was on the Disney Channel, and she was a movie surfer, and she was this beautiful Black girl that, you know, they were like, we need someone else. And then it became between that and my mom adopted my cousins. When you adopt, you're not allowed to move. It was all these limitations. So that was the no. That was the no. The no was, we can't do this. Family is important. And I was like, okay, mommy, you know, and, but at the same time, that opened up so many other doors, because I was able to go and work at a community theater called the Drama Group, where I got a chance to do Oliver. And
a friend of mine always says, and if he's watching, Russ, this is for you, rejection is God's protection.
Yes, it is.
So when that door closed, other doors are opening for you.
Yes.
So you're starting to get a name for yourself in the Chicago theater.
Yeah, at a young age. And the Drama Group, you know, having that experience so young, I was in 6th, 7th grade at the time. So technically I was older, but again, being so petite, they were like, yeah, we need you to play a 5-year-old, just run around and skip and do the things. And I was just giving, who will buy this wonderful, just living. Okay. It was fabulous. And, still one of my most favorite experiences when it comes to being on stage. From there, that's when I found out about that's where I found out about Chicago Academy for the Arts. And so we got information. We started preparing for my audition for high school. And so throughout middle school, I had to kind of cut back on cheerleading and things because I was losing my voice. And so then I auditioned for the Academy for Pamela Jordan, Pat Rusk, Randy Duncan, Shell Benjamin, Guillermo Leyva, and she got in. And I sang, what did I sing? Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I did a movie monologue from Superstar with Molly Shannon.
All I remember, I love that movie so much. A very funny movie. And I love Glennis Johns, the grandmother, when she's sitting in it. And you know what scene I'm talking about?
Which one? When she's like, kick higher.
Yes.
Higher.
We all should have a grandmother like that. But, you know. And if I tell you to, what was it, booga booga boo?
Yeah, then you better booga booga boo. Right.
I can watch that movie over and over and over again.
It's so good. So I did Molly Shannon doing the Sybil monologue from Super. So it was a lot, but I got it.
You still do that monologue?
You know what? I don't. I haven't done it in a while. You know what? I might pull it. Listen, we come back. Oh, it's on.
You do it for me. So you go to the academy, you're doing theater and everything. When, where, and how did you get your equity card?
Wow, I turned down my equity card probably 4 times before
You
I
know
said
how
yes.
many actors right now are going, I hate her?
Well, this was when, the points that you earned it. I was like, hey, I was very close to the, what was it, 375 points or something
Oh
like
my
that.
God. Do they still do that? I don't know. I got an
I don't
equity
know.
card 100 years ago, probably before you were born. But you had to do the EMC program
Yes.
where I 52 weeks, doing everything just to get that equity card, so.
But it taught you so much. It taught you so much. I learned so much. So that pounding the pavement, they're like, oh, that's the audition process. No, that's getting those EMC points. That's what
I
that
probably
is.
know the answer to this, but for everyone who is questioning why you would make that choice, for you personally, why did you turn down the equity card? What was the first experience where the equity card came your way and you chose to bypass it?
My first experience was oh man, where was I? I think perhaps at the Phoenix Theater, where I did Ain't Misbehaving.
Mhm.
That would have been my second time doing it, playing the Charlene track,
Mhm.
and I was like, no, I'm okay. But they did offer me and allow me to be the dance captain. And that was my first time being the dance captain, which was really cool.
Mhm.
But I turned it down because I knew that I had 3 more pending contracts that I wanted to do, and they were all non-equity. And so I was I was the actor that, I'm in a show. Oh, there's an audition in the city. I'm going to just fly out really quickly and cross my fingers that I can get back on that Monday so that I can be there for the show Tuesday. But, go and audition so that I could be the actor that says I'm making a living off of what I love to do, right? What I'm
Mhm.
purposed to do. And so it was hard. It was tough. Everybody be like, well, Brittney Mack, she's never here. Oh, you in the city? You leave and win in 5 minutes? I'm like, yeah, actually, thank you so much. I'm just gonna grab these panties, swap these out for these, and gotta go. Love you guys, And it was like that. So that usually is why I turned it down so many times. I had a lot of friends, very friends that I love so much from college, and also that I look up to in the industry, Jenny Harney being one of them, Ben Harney's daughter. And she was like, listen, the next time you get offered this card, you gonna take it. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Okay, cool. Good talk, friend.
Mhm.
I'll talk to you later. No, I'll talk to you later.
But you
She
always
was like,
felt it was in your future. You didn't feel like, if I don't
absolutely.
grab it, it's not going to happen. Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this: based on everything that I'm hearing you talk about right now, it sounds to me as if these opportunities were coming your way. Obviously, you've got the talent, you've done the training, all of that is in place. Was there ever a time, pandemic excluded, when you were not where you were actually struggling in this business? And have you ever had to do any survival jobs outside
Oh,
the business?
oh yeah. I, I like to say, always an actor, always a teacher, because being a teaching artist is to me the best way to stay afloat,
Mhm.
because you get to sharpen yourself as well, and you learn so much from children,
Mhm.
specifically. Like, we forget sometimes some of the what it means to play, right, and
Mhm.
what it means to kind of sing with abandonment, what we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
not so what technique, like, sing out, Louise, sing out and let's see what happens, right? But I got into wine, at City Winery Chicago, and I was on a cruise contract. I worked for Royal Caribbean. I
Mhm.
always say doing those cruise ships allowed me to really tap into my voice singing Billboard Top
Mhm.
100, because again, that technique, listen, like, just do it,
Mhm.
and it'll trust yourself, right? And it came out, and that's what it was. And so during my last ship contract, my grandfather got sick,
Mm.
and I went back home and I said, listen, sir, I called him. It was one of my last phone calls on the ship. I called him. I said, listen, I'm on my way home. So you stay until I get home. And he was like, okay, and I got home, and he stuck around for another month and a half. And then he was in hospice, and then we lost him the day before Christmas Eve.
Oh,
It would have been just 2020 May 4 years.
wow.
So he was my biggest cheerleader, and he always knew, when you get to Broadway, make sure you tell him, I taught you all, and I'm just like,
God bless
okay,
him.
Granddad.
And what was his name?
Elmer.
So
Elmer
thank you, Elmer. We're gonna
Yes.
acknowledge these people.
Yes. And so thank you. And he, so when that happened, when our family lost him, which is our first loss in my immediate family, which is big, because until then I had all my grandparents.
Mhm.
And so it was just such a blessing and an honor to have him in my life, that I was like, oh well, we're about to do this now. And my grandma was like, I need you to be in Chicago for a while for me. And I was like, what? Okay, sure. So I packed up my stuff in New York, and which was in storage anyway. Like, let's be honest, right?
Well, I want
And
to back up for just a moment. Excuse me for interrupting, but when did you first come to New York? And when did you? I mean, moving to New York, did you have friends here? I mean, you're in New York now, and I was reading the incredible article in Playbill.com, so I want to give them kudos, because they just did a great article on you with all of this. And when you were ready to open on Broadway, it said that your relatives came in, your family was here. You were surrounded by all the love because they were all there to cheer you on for opening night.
Yeah.
But when did you first come to New York, and what was that experience like for you?
I first came to New York in 2008, and I came as a student at 2009 because I went to AMDA LA.
Okay.
First, and then transferred to AMDA New York. When I came and visited the campus, was the first time I had ever been in New York City. And I was like, oh my God. I was literally like Thoroughly Modern Millie. Like, I was just like, Manhattan, like freaking out.
Well, if I told you the year that I came to New York, it was a very different New York from the New York. You came to Disneyland.
Yes.
I came to the world of Taxi Driver and Midnight Cowboy. I mean,
Skid Row.
Yes. That was the New York that I arrived in.
Yeah, it was more better when I came, definitely. So when I visited AMDA, I was in the little cafe area where people were eating, and someone mentioned something about moving out of their apartment, and I was like, hey, can I come see it? And my mom and I did, and that's how I got a place. So I didn't live on campus. I lived on 144th and Broadway. And it was a little rough. Moving in, I got paintball. I got shot by a paintball gun a couple times. Welcome to the neighborhood. It was not.
Did you live alone, or did you have roommates?
I had one roommate, and she was a dancer, but not in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
She was a dancer by trade, if you would, and then worked in the fashion industry.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrea, that was her name. She was fantastic. She was super cool and really like just knowledgeable. But I went to sleep, went to school, went to sleep, went to school. And yeah, so I've been in and out of New York for a very long time. And then once I finally left, meaning like moved my stuff, was right when my grandmother asked me to. Mm-hmm. So it broke my heart. Oh, it hurt bad. But you always
knew you would come back.
Oh yeah. I said, I never forget. Never forget leaving, and I'm looking at the Empire State Building. I told my mom, I said, it's fine. When I come back next time, I'll be on Broadway, so I'm not going to worry about it.
And was it 6 that brought you back to New York?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah, because it's expensive to live here. You know, the cost of living is very high, and you know, to be honest, I still was able to work being in Chicago. I flying to New York was, you know, $50. It wasn't very expensive. So coming for audition season and things like that was manageable.
Now,
yeah.
let me ask you a few questions regarding 6. Did you have to audition for it again, or was that role locked in for you?
That role was locked in for me.
And when did you find out that the show was going to go to Broadway?
Oh my God. In Chicago, we were sitting down it was very bizarre because we had these PR people came with our producer from London, and Kenny Wax. And he was like, he just said it very, you know, casual. He was like, guys, you know, ladies, I want to take you out for drinks and like small bites. And we were like, okay. And so we went out. My girlfriend, Carla Stewart, had actually come, and Carla's been on Broadway and Color Purple and everything else, and Tina and all of that. And she is brilliant. So she came, she's from Chicago, so she came to see the show. So we're hanging out. We were like, Carla, come hang out with us. Like, it's fine. Kenny's great. Like, it's fine. She's like, okay. We came, and he said it so, you know, Richard, listen, he was like, yeah, so basically, ladies, like, we really want to use this as a launch pad for when we, you know, go to Broadway. We just really want to get the word out and make sure that all of you, you know, so just like get your rest and take your vitamins. And we were like, yeah, I'm sorry, sir, what? Back up, reverse it, like Willy Wonka, stop, pause, reverse it, rewind, retract it. I'm sorry. He was like, well, yeah, that's what all the hullabaloo's about. That's what we're doing here. Very casual. That's how we found out. And then the announcement came out, and then I think that's when I actually freaked.
Yeah, it amazes me, first of all, going to an audition, not knowing that you're auditioning for 6, and then having a conversation with someone saying, oh, and by the way, you're going to Broadway.
Yeah.
I mean,
drink in hand.
You know, I think of Barbara Streisand in Funny Girl, where she goes, I haven't suffered enough already.
If I haven't suffered enough already. It was, we were like, you can't just say that, Kenny. You can't just, do you know what that's doing to me right here? I was like, oh God, oh, my throat. Like, it's
and how long in advance was that before you actually came to New York to do the show?
That was at the middle end of the run in Chicago. So, like, right towards the end, maybe our last 2 weeks in Chicago, because the announcement came out while we were in Boston, hanging out with Miss Paulus. So, yeah.
Now, in a moment, we're going to move to the Broadway Mentors program, because I really want to talk about them and the work that they do and the work that you're doing with them. Yeah. But before I get there, you know, what are you doing now to, you know, for survival in New York until the theaters do open again?
You know, applying for the Actors Fund. It honestly, teaching, because I'm just trying to, I do private lessons and different things like that, and trying to get with different companies and people who are perhaps interested in maybe me working with them. I'm very, very particular about what companies and programs I choose to work under. You know, how do you represent yourself? What are you charging people? Like, things like that, because I am also very aware of what's going on, because we're also super affected, right? And so, you know, I do like little cameos for birthdays and things like that. And that, you know, will help keep the cell phone bill, you know, going.
Well,
and things like that.
You sound to me like you're very grounded, which is very, very important in this business. But I know that when everything shut down, you were originally told that the theaters would be opening in April. And then you were told that the theaters would be opening probably in June. And then you were told that the theaters, I mean, it's like this train that, you know, can't somehow get out of the station.
Yeah.
What is your secret if there is one, of getting through this and not letting this just bring you down psychologically?
Couple of things. And what you may have read in the article last year, particularly, especially through the summer, was the fact that I did have such a wonderful opportunity to be with my family and my friends before the whole shutdown. And so I got to just like soak them up like a sponge, you know? And so I had enough fuel to get me through what would have been tough. And to be honest with you, I got a chance to go home, to go back to Chicago, to my mom's home in the summer. So I celebrated my birthday there. So I got more family time. You know, it's the simple joys of making it a point to dwell on the good, right? And because it's so easy to dwell on the bad because there's so much of it, right? And and before you know it, that just has you in a space. And I'm the kind of person that I could definitely focus on, and Richard, I could run down the bills that are, you know, past due, you know, and I could sit here and talk about everything that's due that I haven't, rent, all the things that I'm just like, soon I will be not 2 months behind, but maybe one, you know, and be in this place. But that's just going to be where it is, why I stay there constantly. So I am a person that I get so much satisfaction and so much joy from being for someone. So what can I do for you? How can I help you? What do you need? I've helped 2 friends of mine move from Far Rockaway, and 2 women just getting it in. I was like, I don't have to work out ever again. In a minivan. I was like, oh, did you thought about this or no? She was like, I was like, I love you, friend. Let's do it. You know, and that was a journey for her. So I got to take that journey with her and then be here for her through the rest of it and not dwell on myself. Unfortunately, we're in a very kind of seemingly selfish industry where the focus is always on us. What do we need? What am I doing? What am I giving? What is my intention? But what is someone else? What can I just give back? And, you know, because again, this is a purpose thing for me. So I have to be giving. And when I do that, it keeps me sane. The other day, I went down a rabbit hole, Richard. I confess your faults.
Well, I have those moments. I have those moments as well. Well, I'm going to show a little film of the Broadway Mentors program, Joy Lober, and the incredible work that she's doing. And then when we come back on the other side, I want to talk a little bit about how you got involved and what the Broadway Mentors program means to you and about paying it forward. So everyone, the Broadway Mentors program.
I'll find wings of my own to lift me up, to help me find my way, endless sky where I can fly to a place where I don't have to hide from the truth that lives inside, a truth I've always known. In my heart there beat wings of my own, of my own. Now's my time, here's my chance. I won't make the same mistakes Mama did. I'll be strong, I've worked hard. I can have a different life, a different life. I'll find wings of my own to lift me up, to help me find my way. Endless sky where I can fly to a place where I don't have to hide from the truth that lives inside, a truth I've always This time I'll take the chance. I'll walk the walk, I'll dance the dance, and I'll soar with wings of my
That's the next generation right there. How did you get involved with the Broadway Mentors program?
So I am not on Facebook. But one day
I know I've searched and searched and searched.
I just am like,
You're
so
a smart lady.
I went on, one day I was like, let me check my messenger and like do the things. So I went on and I saw a message from Joy. And I was like, wait, why do I know this name? Like, why do I know who this is? And it was just my brain, my musical theater brain was just like, like, where do you know that? Who do you know? How do you know? Where? What? And I was like, wait, Avita. Oh, hi. And she
Well,
was
get it
just,
out, Avita.
Avita. And she was just like, so I was like, okay, hi. So here's the thing. I'm really sorry. I emailed her back and I was like, I'm really sorry for just now getting to you. I don't have Facebook, but today I went on and saw this message. And so it was just meant to be. Murray Sugarman from Tara Rubin gave her my information and was like, you should, and suggested me. And so I was like, shut up. Really? I love her. So it was just meant to be. She gave me a call and I think we were on the phone for like an hour, maybe more. Joy and I, we like talk. And so I remember she was talking to me and I just, Richard, you know, when you meet those people, and you're like, oh, you're gonna change the world. You know, like you're gonna leave a footprint and impact and inspire and make real, tangible, like evidential change, something that we could actually all like sink our teeth into. I was like, that's Joy and Tracy, her daughter. And so I was just like, yeah. She was like, so if you think about it, and I was like, I don't need to think about anything. This program is right up my alley. I love, like we talked about before, I'm very particular about who and the what and the where my name and who Brittney wants to be associated with and things like that. And I couldn't say yes fast enough. And it was such an honor for me to be chosen by Broadway Mentors Program and Joy, and being able to talk to her, because this is the type of program that I wish I had access to, right? And because, and what I mean by access to is that the program is so affordable that you could, I would have actually been able to do it, right? As a young Black girl in growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, trying to navigate music theater, what it is, why it is, all these things. Kids now, man, they don't know that, especially with StreamYard and Zoom and all these things, they have it in a way that, you know, this access was not available. Like if it wasn't in the newspaper or, you know, through word of mouth or something, through a after school program, you just didn't know about it. And, you know, I'm really grateful for the internet, and I'm really grateful for Broadway Mentors Program, because this, not that other ones don't count or matter or anything, but this program is where I can be Brittney and really have something to offer completely, and be able to really feel like I'm giving, and I still feel like the purpose is being fulfilled even though I'm not on stage. Joy's like, you know what, Brittney, I want you to be yourself. I want you to do that thing that Mari was telling me about, you know, why you were recommended in the first place, and what it is that makes you you. And I was just like, you know, it's that permission to be who you are. And because there's so many restrictions right now with teaching and giving of yourself,
Mhm.
right? And I couldn't have said yes sooner when she, asked me would I be a part of the team. And also, can we talk about the Broadway greats, like the greats, the literal greats? I was like, yeah, yes, yes, I will. And
Mhm.
then hung up with her and was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and was like freaking out, And she's just this incredible woman with this incredible story. Like her story, Richard. Like,
I know, I
what?
know. I mean, go back and look at everyone, go back and look at my interview with Joy. I'm just an incredible woman, and she epitomizes for me. It's all about giving, and it's giving, and it's putting it out there. And she has devoted her life to this program and getting it out there and spreading the wealth. This next generation, this pandemic, we are all going through it together, but we will get through it, and let's all be prepared on the
Yes.
other side. Let's all be prepared to go to the opening night, although it's going to be difficult to get a ticket, although I'm going to call you.
Consider it done.
No, I can't believe this, but we are at the end of the program. You and I have never met before today. We've never spoken before today. And yet I feel as if I've known you my whole life, just from this 1 hour that we spent together. Benita, thank you, because you paved the way for this. We are at the end of the program. Before we end the program, I want to let everyone know that there is the Broadway Mentors Foundation, and you can make a contribution to the foundation. I have included the button here a few times in the comment section. You'll be able to see this later on my YouTube channel, Richard Skipper Celebrates. And if you're listening on the podcast later, please reach out to me privately, and I will get the information on how you can get involved. If you enjoyed today's show, and I hope you did, please go to my guest book at richardskipper.com and sign my guest book with your thoughts about the show if you haven't done so already. And I also want to let everyone know that on Thursday afternoon, I will be back with the other show that I do, Creativity in the Age of COVID. I will be announcing our 3 special guests later today, so stick around for that. I always ask everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. So today, and this will exclude you, Brittney, because you're not on Facebook, but go to your Facebook friends list. Go to the 3rd name that pops up and reach out to that person and tell that person what they mean to you. Not in an email, not in a text, not in a private message. Please pick up the phone, call that person, and let them know what they mean to you. And also, you can pay it forward. Everybody has a kid that wants to be in show business or has a big dream or whatever. Let them know about the Broadway Mentors program. And I know that it's tough for a lot of people right now, but if you're able to make a contribution to the foundation, or if you're even able to pay for a class for these kids, it's very, very important. Sign up for Brittney Mack's class. You can see this is the real deal, folks. So before we end the show, Brittney, I want to give you the final word. Again, I want to thank you for the gifts that you've given to the world and that you will continue to give to the world. So thank you for that. I would like you to have the final word. You can expound upon anything that we've talked about today that you want to build upon, or anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any message that you want to put out to the world right now. As my dear friend David Friedman says, we're all in this together, but we're not in the same boat. Be aware of that. Thank you. It's yours.
I love that. If I could piggyback off of that thought, I would love to say that the awareness that comes with realizing that we're not in the same boat, that right now, the country is that. And I would love to encourage and implore and beseech people who have friends in theater and friends in the industry to reach out to them, to check in on them. And in doing so, please try to do it with delicacy. I think being delicate right now is very important. A lot of people are kind of at wit's end, and what you say and how you say it could tip the scale either way, right? And so I think if we do it with an underlining of joy and choosing joy, and so joy plus a little bit of delicacy and just consideration, it will make the change in anyone's day. And please, 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 please donate to the Broadway Mentors Foundation, and so that you don't have to necessarily hear another story from an actor who wished they had an opportunity with a wonderful program like Broadway Mentors program. You could give that to someone and be able to allow a child to fulfill their dreams of being Gary Coleman and Shirley Temple.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And God bless you. Happy New Year.
God bless you, Richard.
Goodbye.
Bye.